Hello, welcome everyone to PopCultX episode 154. We are back again, Danny and Gabriel, as your hosts with a Gen X perspective on all things pop culture. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Danny, how are you? How are things going?
I'm good. First off, out there, everyone, please join me in wishing Gabe a very happy birthday, or belated. He joined my age group now. We're now currently the same age, which is old. At least it's starting to feel that way when you look at the numbers and you look at the proximity to a big major milestone number, and it's like, wow, that close. How's it feel being that close to that big major milestone number?
It's really surreal. It really, I don't feel that old, but Gen X is really holding it down. Like, we're still representing and like still doing some really cool things. I don't really feel like we're the type of generation that's just gonna like lay down and die. Like, there's still a lot of fight in us. So yeah, I feel great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that the Gen X is that way, because that's coming up in September. There are going to be a couple episodes which you guys don't want to miss out there, so be sure you subscribe now. That way you're notified when they get released. And one of them is going to be about Gen X music and how we're not really fading away. We're really still being the inspiration and leading the charge for the next generation of musicians. So look forward to talking about that coming up soon in September. But we're not in September yet. So let's talk about what we've been doing this week. Now, I watched a few movies, a few sequels. Also watched a new show, which is a spin-off show that appeared on Netflix. And I think I'll start with that. So I saw the first few episodes of The Walking Dead, Darryl Dixon, which is now, it's a 6-episode, I guess, miniseries. It finally showed up on Netflix. So I caught the first few episodes of it, and at first I thought to myself, I wasn't gonna like it. I wasn't a big Darryl Dixon fan to begin with. You know, I know everyone really likes him, and that's great for him. He's made a huge name for himself with that character, but I wasn't really ever a huge fan of it. And also, The Walking Dead for me kind of died off after the whole killing of Glenn with the baseball bat by Negan. Just like everyone else, I think I've talked to about Walking Dead, they said after that, it was like done for them.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed this series. It not giving too much away, and you're gonna laugh. I don't know how much you know about it.
I know nothing about it at all.
So you're gonna laugh about what I'm first gonna tell you. It takes place in Paris or in France.
All right. How did he get to France?
That was my first thought when I read the synopsis. I was like, in France. I was like, France? How did he get to France? So they show him on the very first part of the very first episode, they show him washing ashore in some like rowboat. So obviously he was on some sort of, big ship or something. Then they got kicked off or something. I don't know. They explained it briefly in one of the episodes, but it wasn't like, they didn't make too big of a deal of it. But for me, it was a big deal. It's like, how the heck did he get to France? Because that's a huge deal. Maybe in the later episodes they'll explain further.
They have to explain that. That's so like the biggest elephant in the room is like, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. That was my thoughts exactly. How the heck did he get over to France in the first place? But it's been really good. I mean, I enjoyed seeing the whole Walking Dead universe from a different perspective, in a way that it's from a different culture. It's from a different, how that different culture is handling the apocalypse. And it's kind of like when you see like 28 Days Later, taking place in Britain, or different, movies from different cultures that show the same sort of event, but from their perspectives. And I enjoy that. So seeing that was very cool. The fact that some of them were speaking French and they don't offer a translation because you're seeing it from Daryl's eyes and he doesn't speak French, so you don't know what they're saying. I really enjoy when they do that, because we don't need to know everything unless you speak French, and then you do know. But I recommend it. So far I'm enjoying it. It's pretty good.
Nice. I'm rather interested in it just because of the whole aspect of it being in a different setting. So that kind of intrigues me. I'm not a really big Walking Dead fan, but I haven't seen anything zombie related in a while, so maybe I'll check it out, because I'm kind of jonesing for some zombie action, so probably check it out.
Yeah, give it a shot. I mean, I guess it's further along in the apocalypse, so the zombies are, and you see this, and this was a big thing that they made mention of in the Walking Dead series as it went along. The zombies were decaying more; they were
Yeah.
becoming, less or just more weathered out, I guess. So you
Mhm.
see that in some of the zombies here. So I thought that was cool that they kept that theme going.
Right on.
They weren't like a fresh crop of zombies. Well,
Yeah.
I won't spoil anything else, but there are some fresh crops of zombies. So
Yeah.
yeah. How about you? Any shows you've been watching or anything?
I haven't been watching any shows, but along with the sort of horror genre, I saw Alien Romulus,
Oh,
and
nice.
that was really good. There's definitely some scary parts of it. I don't necessarily think of the Aliens franchise as like horror, it's more like science fiction.
Hmm.
But these aliens were pretty scary because the way it was filmed and the way they attack people. It was very creepy and very scary. Very creepy. But it was very, really, really well made. It's not necessarily a sequel because it sort of falls in the middle of all the Alien movies. So it's like sort of before Aliens, but after Alien, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's really good, really great cast, young group of young actors. They fall into this predicament where there are aliens aboard their spaceship, and then of course horror ensues and just a lot of killing and alien guts and blood and all of that stuff. So it's not the most fresh franchise aliens, but it definitely was interesting and um did keep my attention. It was very good. It was very well made,
Yeah.
and it was very intriguing. So it was really cool. I really recommend it to anyone that is fans of the Aliens franchise. It definitely did not disappoint me.
Very cool. And yeah, of course, that was written and directed by Fede Alvarez,
Yeah.
who is a great filmmaker. I really enjoy his work, especially with the 23 adaptation of Evil Dead. That
Mhm.
was like one of my favorite versions of the Evil Dead franchise.
Yeah.
So he's a great auteur. Tease for maybe an upcoming episode all about auteurs. Once we get the gang all back together,
Yeah.
we might have a nice long discussion about film auteurs and comic book auteurs. So mark your calendars for that one, everyone out there.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
but yeah, Fede Alvarez is a I enjoy his work. Evil Dead, Alien Romulus. I know Don't Breathe was another one he wrote and directed that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I preferred Aliens as opposed to Alien.
Yeah.
So the second part, so this sliding right in between those two would be really cool.
Yeah, you definitely have to check it out. Another movie that I saw with a very cool director was Blink Twice, which was directed by Zoe Kravitz, daughter of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa
Hmm.
Bonet, actress, singer. She does everything pretty much, model.
Catwoman in the Batman, right?
Yeah, this is her directorial debut.
Nice.
It without like I mean, spoiling it, it's really hard not to mention what the plot's about because it's got a lot of twists. But basically, the main plot is there is this like young billionaire played by Channing Tatum, who is apologizing for making some sort of mistake, some sort of gaffe that he had in his public image, and
Mhm.
he retreats to his island to try to get away from everything and let things die down. He comes across the main protagonist of the movie and invites her and her friend to tag along on this island, and then all kinds of crazy stuff happens. It's very much in the same vein as Get Out,
Okay.
if you remember that film.
Mhm.
Lots of twists and turns, a lot of surprises. I would call it of like a revenge movie too. Like there's a certain aspect of it that is um, very pleasurable to watch because the villains of the movie get their comeuppance, which I always like in
Uh-huh.
films. When the villains like don't get away scot free, they sort of their karma catches up with them, and that happens in this film, very much so. And it's just a really fun um, movie. It is very hard to watch because there is a lot of triggering events.
Oh,
There's a lot
okay.
of like a lot of violence. So, if you're triggered by that, like definitely stay away from that movie.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's interesting. It kind of speaks to the way society looks at women and how they deal with trauma and how they're expected to kind of move from trauma in their
Yeah.
lives. And so it's kind of an interesting take on that. Zoe Kravitz does a really great job. There's some really interesting shots that she did within the film that are really kind of mesmerizing and really interesting just to visually see. So for that, I kind of applaud her for that. And then the character development is really cool. A lot of really great people are in the film. Christian Slater, Gina Davis, um, Channing Tatum plays like the one of the main characters. The main protagonist is Naomi Aki, who is, I believe, a British actress. Adria Arjona plays another of the main characters. Really good cast, really great acting. And it looks like Zoe, really focused on really making a very good film because it's really entertaining and really thought provoking.
Very cool. Very cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, very. It's like I said, it's not easy to watch during certain parts of it, but the ending definitely makes up for it. And I feel like you leave a little bit satisfied with how.
But those are that's what films are about, right? They're supposed to make you feel that uneasiness. So it makes you think about what other people have been through and experienced, right?
Yeah,
So I'm glad that they didn't like shy away from it and just kind of like have it happen off screen and just
right.
talk about it. So that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely is she has a message with the film. Definitely wanting to deliver a particular message with what she created. I think she co-wrote the film, and so she definitely has a very specific message that she wants to put out there. So it's very interesting.
Very nice. Very nice. You mentioned a twist in the movie, and I laughed because I watched a movie with many twists this past weekend, and that was the movie Twisters.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. And I'm a big fan of the original film Twister. I really liked it.
Me
It was
too.
really good. I remember it was probably the first DVD I ever bought,
Hmm.
and for a lot of our generations, it probably likewise Twister was probably one of the first ones that you guys owned, and it fell right into that same category of that film with me. The whole storm chaser vibe. They paid homage to the original film by keeping talking about Dorothy,
Hmm.
the whole device that was like the center point of the original film. And
Yeah.
they Anthony Ramos's character is still working with that device. I won't give it away too much, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it had the cast had really good I don't say chemistry with each other, but they worked well with each other, and I could feel the tension with the storms itself. And I just thought I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Something that was interesting that I heard, I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but that the director didn't want to mention any environmental issues within the film because he wanted to
Oh,
stay away from being like a quote woke film, which I thought was really interesting. Like that they would not want to utilize realistic,
right.
nature that's happening within the film as an explanation as to like these
Yeah.
tornadoes, like what's
Yeah.
happening.
Because they
Uh, but I get it. Like if they want to just completely entertain you and not
mhm.
have too serious of like a debate to go on, which is weird that it's science is a debate, but uh, I feel like it's like there's people that are definitely Francis Ford Coppola made a new film and he specifically casted people that he claims have been canceled. John Voight, Shia LaBeouf, some other actors that I don't really remember them being canceled, but that's what they're claiming. And he wanted it to because he didn't want it to be see his film to be seen as preachy and to be like a woke film. So he got people who were
You got the
specific canceled.
anti-woke people.
Yeah, it's an interesting
Weird.
perspective. Like I don't really fully understand what he was going with that, but like he's a great filmmaker and the actors themselves are really great. Like John Voight, regardless of what feel about his political point of view, is a great actor. So casting him in a film, I think, is a good decision based on his acting abilities. But it's kind of interesting that it's like the reverse of casting a diverse group of people based on their ideals, but this is based off of their being canceled, their status within pop culture, which is kind of weird.
That is
Uh,
weird.
yeah. But I think the film is in trouble, kind of like on another tangent, is having in their ads fake reviews. So they quoted fake reviews in their ads, and they had to remove these commercials because they were fake. And it was like, is that another like, is he just trying to like get attention for the movie, regardless of like how he's gonna get it? Which is really because he's like an established filmmaker, like he's like one of
Yeah.
the best. You would think that he wouldn't have to come up with something so cheap and but they did. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Kind of interesting.
That's I hadn't heard about that. That's it. I knew he was making a film, or am I thinking of the Scorsese film? I know Coppola was making a film. It's like some odd title, right? It's like
This one is based about New York and these people wanting to create a utopia
yeah,
society
yeah, yeah. Yes,
in
yeah.
New York, and then like the
The
clash of
Megalopolis or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, mhm. That's
Interesting.
the film that I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Have I seen any other Francis Ford Coppola besides Dracula?
Have you seen The Godfather?
No, I've never seen The Godfather.
Wow, that you definitely have to watch The
Is
Godfather.
that controversial?
I mean, it's considered to be like one of the greatest films,
Ye-
the sequel anyway, like the second Godfather. It's a trilogy, so
Yeah,
it's
there
the
you
third
go.
one is supposed to not that great, but the first two are really good. There, it definitely you have to watch it.
Hey, I've tried, I think, but I've never really. It's just I don't know.
Doesn't it to
I
you?
doesn't really do much to me. I think I'm more. If I'm gonna watch a mafia inspired movie, I'd rather watch a Scorsese film like Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Um, even a
Well,
Bronx Tale,
the
I'd
the
rather watch.
Godfather is more like the beginning, like
Mhm.
the introduction of the mafia into the United States. Like it's old school, like old time versus Goodfellas, even though it takes place in what like the 70s or in early
Mhm.
80s,
Mhm.
is more like the new school. Godfather is definitely like the origin story.
Okay. When I have 3 hours to kill, I think I'll give it a watch.
I mean, it's Brando. You have just for the actors alone, Brando, Robert
That's
De
true.
Niro,
That is
Al
true. That is
Pacino.
true.
Yeah,
That is true.
it's
Just
like
like I would watch Megalopolis because Lawrence Fishburne is in it.
yeah.
I'm a huge Lawrence
Is
Fishburne fan.
like he's not canceled. Like I don't know
Right.
what you're talking about with like this cast of canceled people.
Yeah, it's Aubrey
I think
Plaza canceled.
yeah, Aubrey Plaza, Adam
Adam
Driver,
Driver, yeah.
he hasn't been canceled. So like I think Giancarlo Esposito's in it too, and he's
Hmm.
never been canceled from
Yeah.
my knowledge. So I don't know. I don't know what that whole quote is about him casting canceled people, but I
Maybe
think
it's just
John Voight, I don't know.
maybe it's just the few. Yeah, John Voight, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And well, Shia LaBeouf wasn't canceled. He just went crazy, right?
He's been accused of some pretty like horrible things by
Oh,
his
has he? Okay.
ex-girlfriend. What is her name? FK Twigs. She's a singer,
Hmm.
actress. She's in the new Crow. Um, and she's accused of some pretty bad things. So like
Okay.
if they're true and if he were to be found guilty, like it definitely is something that like
Would be
I
cancel
think
you.
twice about
Yeah.
having him in a film.
Now, if like Mel Gibson was in the film, then I'd be like, okay, now I see where he's going.
Yeah. That would yeah, that'd be an interesting casting choice.
Yeah. But I'm curious to see how this film. It looks interesting. I I think I'd watch it.
Yeah. Even with the fake reviews, I think it's
Yeah.
probably be worth a watch.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said about Lawrence Fishburne, I like the DoorDash commercials because he does the voiceover acting in it, and I think it's
Uh,
so great. Like when he's talking about batteries, and it just makes me laugh because I'm thinking about Matrix and how humans were the batteries, and it
yeah.
just I get a kick out of that. So yeah, definitely gonna watch that.
No. All right. Any other films that you watched this
I
week?
watched a couple other sequels, little cartoons. They were okay. Despicable Me 4 was, it was I don't want to call it a money grab, but it
Yeah.
did wrap up some storylines. I don't know if you follow the Minions and Despicable Me, and
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know who's fans of Despicable Me. Is it like young kid, like babies, like
it's
little kids, or like I don't really feel it's never really attracted me like to the franchise. I know it's popular, but like I'm assuming that it's for like young kids, like
I would say yeah. I would
5 year.
say yeah. I mean, but the Minions are fun. I'll give them that. They are a lot of fun. They get into some crazy antics, and the fact that they speak kind of like a gibberish Spanish in a way is kind of
Yeah,
cool. Um, and that's the part I get a kick out of is them.
yeah,
So it is what it is.
yeah. I'm not running to watch any of the Despicable Me franchise, but there are some some animated features like Inside Out too. I want to watch. I
Just saw
haven't
that
seen
one
it
too.
yet. I'm really excited to see how like anxiety works out.
Yes, Maya Hawke did the voice for Anxiety in the film, and she did great. It was a really good film. It follows the main character from the first one as she becomes a teenager now,
Yeah,
and all these new emotions are entering her brain as puberty hits, right?
yeah,
So it's really cool how they replaced the core emotions that were there before. So now you have, like you said, anxiety, there's embarrassment, there's envy and other ones. And I just think it's really cool how Pixar put that together.
yeah.
It was really well done with the voice acting, the story, and yeah, I recommend you watch that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how far they're gonna like play that out. Like, will she be an adult at one point, and will she have like depression or like
College level, yeah.
disorder? Like, how far are they gonna take it in like mid like old age, and she's gonna have like be like depressed because she's in old age or whatever. Like, because they kind of really take it pretty far, like
They
someone's
could.
whole life and the whole life cycle and the amount of how emotions play into that. 'Cause I think it would be interesting to see it from like an adult's perspective
Hmm.
and end it with like her having her own kid.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I can
Yeah,
see that. That'd be really cool. Especially because they do show glimpses of like the adults, like her mom, her emotions inside her head, like what we planned for this day and and whatnot. So it's really cool if they, like you said, carry that out with the main character.
yeah,
And that'd be really fun. I mean, I'm not the writer in that, so I don't know, but
yeah,
it'd be really cool. I wanted to talk a little bit about just some pop culture news that
yeah,
came up over that I saw over the past week. And first one I'll say is a little not shocking, but the fact that J Lo and Ben Affleck are filed for divorce.
yeah,
It was I don't want to say surprising, because it wasn't. I don't want to say expected either, though. I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship enough to say that yeah, they were always doomed from the start.
yeah.
And and I saw a meme or a tweet. Oh, what was it? It was like J Lo um going back for like a fifth ring, and it was making fun of some basketball players with all their rings. She's like, "Yeah, I'm coming for my fifth ring now too," or something like that. And
I have a soft spot for J Lo. Like I really like her.
yeah, me too.
People like to dog on her. Like people love to hate on
Oh
her.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like a pastime for some people. Like they love it. Um, I like her acting. I think she's a really good actress.
Mhm,
I
I
think she's
agree.
underrated. That people like to play down her ability as an actress. As a singer and entertainer, I think she is also pretty good. Like she's really entertaining to me. Like I would go see a concert of hers because she is going to dance, she's going to sing, she's going to really entertain you. The Super Bowl halftime, I think, is like an example of that. Where like,
Hmm.
yeah, she's not a Whitney Houston singer, but like she can dance and she can
Yeah,
entertain you
the
in ways
performer. Yeah.
Whitney Houston couldn't. And I really feel for her because of all the hate that she gets, and at the end of the day, like she is just a human, and she's
Mhm.
you know trying to live her life, and she's fallen in love and fallen out of love with people. I think that it's really easy for people to blame her for the disillusion of their marriage. um I kind of feel like Ben Affleck gets a pass, but
Yeah,
he's
that's weird.
like really moody. Like he has
Hmm.
like these really like highs and lows. I don't know if you've ever seen like the paparazzi pictures of him, but
Yeah,
like
I have.
he seems kind of like a dick. Like he always seems like he's like moody and like angry, and then all of a sudden he's like really happy, and um that would be really difficult for someone to obviously to handle. So I'm not saying that it's her fault, and I'm not saying that it's his fault either. Obviously, like there's multiple reasons that a marriage could dissolve and break up. But it just she gets such a hard time for everything that she does, and that people are making fun of her is kind of, I'm a little over it. It's just I feel bad for her because she's worked really hard. I remember J Lo back when she was like in Janet Jackson's video for "That's the Way Love Goes."
Or
How
in
many
Living Color. Yeah.
background dancers and video friends or whatever you want to call her have their own career? Like of all those
Hmm.
dancers, like J Lo's the only one that we know of. The other ones are have gone on to do other things, but no one has reached the level of success that she has. So you have to really give it up for her for that. Like
Yeah.
someone who started off as a dancer, became an actor, singer, entertainer, has her own sort of like um, franchise, like her own what would you call it? World, like her
Her own empire. Yeah.
all right, there you go, that's the word that I'm trying to think of, her own empire where she does everything.
Hmm.
You really have to respect that. And so yeah, I so for that, like I feel kind of bad for her because it's just another thing that people are gonna like dog on her for. And I am kind of sad that that happens. So just
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make
Does
me
it,
feel happy to see her go through that.
when you see a celebrity couple split like that, most of the time the blame gets shifted toward the woman. Is that correct?
I would say so. I think that kind of goes along with like society and how we feel about, you know, women and how they
Yeah.
take the
It's
front
the
for
double
like the
standard crap. Yeah.
responsibility for marriage. I'm trying to think of like someone else that famous that like they broke up, and um I'm having a hard time really thinking of like a power couple, but um
What about Jolie and Pitt?
yeah. Oh, for sure. Like she definitely got the blame for that,
Yeah.
right? There's some stuff that have come out that like their kids like have called him an asshole and said that he
Hmm.
was like a horrible dad, and that they dislike him. So like clearly it's not just Angelina,
Hmm.
and I mean she got so much shit for like being a homewrecker because supposedly she's the one that broke up Jen Aniston and Brad Pitt. But
Yeah.
it's like he's the one that's committed to that relationship. Like, why
Hmm.
is he get scot free? So yeah, that's annoying. It definitely is just society being misogynistic
Yeah.
and making women responsible for things that clearly they're not fully responsible for. Obviously they play a role in a marriage, but like it's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
It's not, the blame doesn't go on one person.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in other kind
Society.
of sad pop culture news, I don't know if you saw Mariah Carey's mother and sister passed away
Oh
like
wow,
on
no.
the same day, and so I saw it on People, and she's obviously very upset because she was very close to I think her mom and her sister. But yeah, that's a real big tragedy for her that
Wow.
she's having to deal with that. That
Yeah,
to have
my
two
goodness.
family members die at the same time, like I don't know the specifics of it. I don't know if it was like a car accident or something that was related, or if they just happened to pass at the exact same time. But pretty sad that to hear that news.
Yeah, that is sad. I mean, I would imagine that it would be worse if they were two separate instances, right?
Yeah,
Like, oh no, my mom died. We get a phone call later on. Oh no, also your sister. Wow.
yeah,
I mean, I guess it's not that saying that it's any better if they were together, but at least that tragedy you just have to go through it once as opposed to two separate ones.
right, right.
That's some. Yeah, thanks for bringing me down here. Nice way to. Nice
But
way to close out the episode
another
there, Gabe.
news that is a little bit more upbeat and a little bit more good news is supposedly they're considering bringing Wesley Snipes back as Blade. I
Oh,
don't know if
really?
you've seen any of I don't know the accuracy of that reporting, but apparently there's some speculation that they're thinking about Wesley Snipes taking up the mantle of Blade. We talked about that
Yeah,
on
we did.
about how he could still hold that franchise and that he would still make really good movies as that character. So my fingers are crossed that they bring him back and we see another Wesley Snipes Blade film.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would maybe have him hunting Morbius or something. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, and they're also saying that it looks pretty good for Tatum and Gambit.
I heard that. Yes, I
Yeah,
heard something about that they were planning on making, or that he's getting more. It's getting closer to being greenlit. Yeah,
yeah,
which is
so
exciting.
that's really cool.
Yeah,
So that's amazing that Deadpool and Wolverine was able to accomplish that. And props to Ryan Reynolds for having the foresight to do that.
yeah, absolutely. And also give props to Ryan Reynolds, not for this, but maybe. Another rumor I heard, and this is exciting for me because I'm a huge fan, is that they're in talks of bringing back Ted Lasso for season 4,
Huh?
which is going to be super exciting. I know they got three of the, well, I think it was Deadline announced it at deadline.com or whatever, that Hannah Waddington, Jeremy Swift, and Brett Goldstein are in the contract now for Ted Lasso season 4, which is
Oh,
cool because those are the probably who will probably be the three core members for season 4 going forward. If you saw season 3, you know that Ted returned back to America, and I don't think he's going to come back.
yeah,
So it would just be about how they move forward without him, and maybe even focus on the women's football team over there, which would be
yeah.
kind of cool.
So wait, so Ted Lasso without Ted Lasso?
Basically, yeah,
Oh, so would they change the name of the show?
probably not. They'll
Huh?
probably reference him. I mean, I guess they could, but he's the, yeah, that'd be weird.
Like they would have to change the name if he's not in it.
Would they?
Yeah, like that's
Well, I
like
mean, would they? Think about this. Okay, so let's say, what's another show that's named after like a main character? Then that character changed his name.
Seinfeld. Seinfeld
Well,
could not. They couldn't make Seinfeld without Jerry Seinfeld.
that's true. That is true, but that, yeah, I mean, that's debatable. I guess. I'm thinking of like, uh, was it Grey's Anatomy? Do you think that show continue if the main person, Gray, what's her name, Meredith Grey, wasn't the character, wasn't on it?
I didn't know that it was named after a person. I thought it was like named after Grey's Anatomy. Like I
The
didn't know.
book. That's what
Yeah,
I
like
thought too at first.
it was an actual person. Um, so yes, because the name is then has double meaning, right? So if
Mhm.
there was a Ted Lasso book that was referenced or that people were knowledgeable of, yes, then I would say they could go on without it. But it's like very specific, like it's the character. So I would say they have to rename it.
Well, maybe they'll get him back then. Maybe he'll make cameos throughout the season, just to keep the name alive. But it's very early, so I don't want to speculate on anything. It was just an exciting rumor to see that they might even contemplate season 4. Because
Yeah,
even with those Brett Goldstein and Hannah Waddington attached, I'd watch it because they're fantastic actors.
yeah. I'm kind of curious that since we're talking about rumors and things of that nature, how much credence do you put to a rumor that you see on social media? Because there's so many rumors that come out. It's like I don't until I see it on the screen, I think that it's fake. Like I hope that some things are true, but it's like Like there was one thing that they're like for sure Dazzlers in Deadpool and Wolverine. Like there it has to be. And I saw people saying that because they were releasing Marvel's releasing a Dazzler comic book. They've released a bunch of merch. Right now, I think they have Dazzler variant covers for a lot of different comics. So they're like, that's the only reason that they would be doing it is because Dazzler has to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, and then nothing. So like these rumors, like I don't know if the filmmakers put them out or if they put that to throw people off the scent of what's really happening in the show or the
Hmm.
movie. But I never believe them. I always hope that they're true, but you can never believe them because they're like they don't happen a lot of the time.
I like when rumors show up about anything related to James Gunn's work, and then he
Yeah,
gets on the internet, Twitter, wherever, and just says, "No, that's not true." He
yeah,
just shoots it down so fast, and I enjoy that when the filmmakers or the creators say explicitly no or yes to something, so the rumors get no legs, and
yeah.
those what really grinds my gear, not to copy Family Guy at all, but when I see those fake trailers for
Mm,
movies on, oh, here's the first trailer for Spider-Man 4 or first trailer for the new X-Men movie or
yeah,
something. It's like those are fan-made stuff. Some people might have great editing skills, but they're not real. And some people think that they're real, and then they go on and they talk, oh, did you see the trailer for this or that? It's like, it's not real. And it just really, really irks me and irritates me so much that people do that. And then because people are going to believe it. And it just really bothers me.
yeah. I feel the same way. Like I hate clicking on something and then seeing like it be AI or some fan made
Mhm.
fiction. It's just like it's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then for them to get my click and for them to get my view, I'm just so pissed off because I'm like, you're taking advantage of my excitement as like a fanboy of
Yeah.
certain things that I'm going to click on it if it says new X-Men such and such, and you're taking advantage of that, and
Hmm.
it really pisses me off too. Yeah,
Yeah. It absolutely does. And I think YouTube needs to put a stop to it because if they're making this, copyrighted material and distorting it for their own stuff, it's infringement. So come on, YouTube, help us out.
yeah, yeah, for sure. The ones that I do enjoy are the ones that are like if something took place in like the 1940s, like if they filmed Batman in the 1940s, or
Mm-hmm.
if they filmed the Thundercats, whatever. Those I kind of like. I think like they're kind of interesting. Like I've seen a couple with like the Flintstones and like the Jetsons that are kind of well made. Um, and they're kind of interesting just to kind of see like they're like what if episodes,
Yeah.
but not like full on like trying to take advantage of people's excitement for a project.
Yeah. I hear you. I do like those. I do like um when people make music or songs from one artist in a different style. Like
Yeah.
recently I saw like if Green Day had written and performed Hey Ya, the Outcast song,
Mhm.
and they did it in a Green Day style, and it was really well done. It sounded like it could be a Green Day song. So I
Yeah.
thought that
No,
was
that's
really
fun.
cool. So when they do stuff like that, that's the good use of the YouTubes.
Yeah. Speaking of music, have you listened to anything recently that has like caught your attention that our listeners should be listening to?
Yeah, I think I mentioned him before, but he came out with a new song called Pretty Slowly. It's Benson Boone.
Oh, okay.
And I really enjoy more than I thought I would about this young, I think he's what, 21, 22, and his artistic style and his voice is just really powerful, and it really stays with me more than, like I said, I thought it would.
Mhm.
I also heard oh goodness, what's her name? It's a song called Good Luck Babe. I think it's by someone Chappelle Roan.
Yeah. Chapel
And
Roan.
it's the first time I heard of this artist, and that song was really good too. So
Yeah.
maybe I just need to expand my music listening box wider net so I can hear more. But those are two that I heard recently that I really liked.
Yeah. Um, Interesting story that I'd heard of this conservative person wanting to ban or to yeah, I guess that would be the word, ban or block the Foo Fighters because they're not allowing Donald Trump to use their music. And one of the first key talking points that he had is like, who are the Foo Fighters anyway? And I heard someone was sort of retorting to that and were like, are you kidding? Like, first of all, Foo Fighters music is like iconic. And then
Mhm.
secondly, Dave Grohl was in Nirvana, like another iconic like band. And you're saying, like, who are they? Who are you? To even be saying that.
Mhm.
And it's kind of interesting just to see this person make a fool of himself trying to ban or block the Foo Fighters, but I just love the Foo Fighters for like sticking to their
Yeah.
guns and having an opinion about where their music is going to be played. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Along the same lines as that, I saw that the estate of Isaac Hayes has
Mm,
also sued the Trump campaign um for using his songs, or I guess a song he wrote or co-wrote,
yeah,
as part of their campaigning or whatever, even though they sent him multiple cease and desist letters. So now
mhm,
they're suing him, which I think is good too, because who wants to be associated with that? I
yeah,
mean, really?
yeah. Um, I have been listening to Carlos Santana.
Oh, nice.
I've been kind of going back and listening to his catalog. Uh, Mainly so because I am going to be seeing him this Friday,
Oh, right
uh,
on.
the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater with Counting Crows. So that should be really exciting. Counting Crows is like definitely a Gen X like
Oh, yeah.
throwback. Carlos Santana, I think, kind of doesn't even defies like any sort of generational
Hmm.
category. He just like is beloved by like everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna be watching them. So it should be a
Nice.
good concert.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, Counting Crows are one of those bands that you don't think about, but then you hear their music and you're like, oh yeah, they were really good.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like, what song did I just hear recently by them? Oh goodness, I don't recall. But yeah, they're just really good.
yeah.
All
Mhm.
right, on. Well, I hope you have fun there. Let us know next episode how the concert was.
Yeah,
Um, I think that's about all for this week.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for following us this far into this episode. Thanks for subscribing if you have. If you haven't, now's your opportunity. Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for September, where we have some exciting episodes planned. I mentioned the tour episode. We're going to do the Gen X music episode. I think we're also doing some, since spooky season's coming up, we're going to be doing some ghost story episode, maybe real life ghost stories, and also one that I'm really excited about. And Gabe, I think I told you about this, or maybe I haven't. I'm still planning it out, and it's going to be the Hispanic or Latino Heritage Month episode that we're doing this year, and it's all going to be about folklore from there. Think like Chupacabra or La Llorona or something like that. So I'm going to be doing some research on that. Maybe get some special guests who know more about that than I do, who can talk to it more, and I'm really looking forward to that. So stay tuned, everyone. We got some exciting stuff. Thanks for coming to watch us today, and hopefully you'll come back next time, and we'll see you then.
Yeah.